My name is Duane, and one of the things I thought I'd like to talk to you a little bit about today is as we're approaching holiday season, or whether we're coming on to Christmas here, but whether it's birthdays or anniversaries or weddings, one of the unique things that you can get one of a kind, and that's hand-turned wooden products. A lot of times the customers or people that aren't in the know kind of wonder about what it takes to put together a piece of hand-turned art like comes out of a shop like this with a machine like this. And so that's kind of what we're all about this morning, to kind of go through from beginning to end, from the time that tree's standing out there until the time we've got a finished bowl or vase or something that we can make available for that super fine gift that you got for somebody that you just don't know what else to buy. I think we'll probably start by heading outside, and I'm fortunate enough that I got a good friend that's got a tree service. And he called me the other day and wondered if I was interested in any of the logs that he had laying around that weren't worthwhile for him to take to a mill and have sawn. And so we'll move outside and take a look at what he provided for me, and we'll kind of go through the process from there to take it all the way up to a bowl. From that cut we just made, you notice we split that log kind of long ways down the center. The reason we have to do that is right down the center of a log is kind of the core wood, and that's got a way different moisture content than the rest of the log. So if you just try and turn something out of a round log like that, it's guaranteed to split. You'll never be able to get it to dry. So we cut those logs in half, and then turn the bowl out of each side of the half. That was my first step, was to cut it in half. Then I take my chainsaw and I cut it roughly round shape like this. Getting it close enough to where I can lift it is always kind of convenient. Some of this stuff, this walnut is extremely heavy. And then I'll take this onto my bandsaw and I'll cut it round. And if our photographer likes to swing over, you can take a look at the bandsaw setting there. You can turn up to something around 10 inches thick and make that work. And then I take it and I mount it on a faceplate, and we'll fasten that faceplate up to my one-way lathe. This is extremely heavy lathe, even when the log or a piece of wood is kind of out of balance. This big old 1640 made up in Canada is man enough to do the job. And so I'm going to quick put on a vest because I happen to have a wool shirt on and it really collects sawdust. So let me put on my turning jacket before we start to turn anything. I always wear a face shield, certain woods, and then I always wear a face mask as well. If it's spalted wood that's got a lot of fungus in it, a lot of growth that it could be toxic, then I wear breathing shield, face mask as well as a shield. But this window is pretty good, so I'm just going to wear the shield. Always make sure that we've got ourselves protective. Start this up. And we'll just start rounding it out a little bit to see what we can get going here. just to show that you can turn something besides just bowls. Here's a wedding wine glass that I've turned, and actually it's got 2 encapsulated rings on it. And it's as a demonstration to the bride and groom that these rings can't come off. They're actually turned on there to where they're just like your wedding rings. They're permanent. They're not something that will ever come off. And turn this as a chalice for their wedding as kind of a neat gift. And then we can go all the way down and even turn Christmas ornaments. I happened to run into that little blown glass manger scene, and I thought, boy, that would make kind of a neat Christmas ornament. So I did what's called reverse turn or inside out turning, and turned that hollow form, and then mounted that blown glass manger scene in the middle of it as a Christmas tree ornament. So we're not limited as to what we can turn. You name it, if it can be done, we'll find a way to make it into something usable.